Broadcasting live from the Capital OTB studios, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
We'd like to thank Woodbine for their sponsorship of this program and some of the other programming and events here at Capital OTB. Woodbine open now through December, featuring great racing, including the King's Plate coming up in August, Turf Champions Day with the Woodbine Mile in September, and much, much more. Woodbine Racing, great racing north of the border. Good morning. Welcome to the Sunday edition of Racing Across America. I'm Seth Merrow. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to our friends at Woodbine for their sponsorship. And don't forget today, it's a mandatory in the high five up at Woodbine. So we had a mandatory yesterday at Gulfstream in the Rainbow Six, which paid pretty well. And today a mandatory in the high five at Woodbine. So keep that in mind if you're a high five player. Maybe if you are a high five player, maybe jump in today and explore. As it were. Do want to continue to remind you, tomorrow, normally on a Monday, we're off. There's no OTB Live. But tomorrow, OTB Live on the road. So jump on board here. Watch throughout the afternoon. A couple of stakes races tomorrow at Finger Lakes. So it's a great day for us to head up the Thruway. If you've never been, come on out if you have the day available tomorrow and say hello. We'd love to see you. It's a quick pop up the Thruway. Well, I mean, it's probably a couple hours or whatnot, but you get off the Thruway and it's just like 5 or 10 minutes. It's very easy to get there. Again, weather's supposed to be nice tomorrow, a couple of stakes races. So love to have you out there to say hello if you're out in the area. But if not, tune in here tomorrow, Monday afternoon, live from the Finger Lakes, cut-ins all afternoon here on OTB TV. Going to take a look at some of the stakes action coming up that was run yesterday, including not just yesterday, but earlier this week from Royal Ascot, because there were some races that were worth watching and were kind of fun. We talked a little bit yesterday with our friend Dick Powell. Whenever there's international racing, it's always worth paying attention to Dick. He has a good handle on handicaps Hong Kong on Steve Bick radio show every week. But he watches the European racing closely as well. And then when they're over in Dubai and whatnot. But we had him on yesterday, and we were talking about the QE2 and the Jersey. Jersey was race 4. He liked Kilcooley, I think is how you pronounce it. Went off, I believe, at 21-1, missed by like that much, but missed behind a logical player that we also talked a little bit about. And so it was a nice pick by Dick, $140 exact, I think, there with Kilcooley again, who just came up a smidge short at a big price. But we'll take a look at some of the notable Royal Ascot races from a little bit earlier, from yesterday and earlier this week. But first, let's go on this side of the pond, as it were, take a look at some of the action from yesterday. The highlight on the card at Belmont at the Big A was the Wild Applause. My top pick, Grayush, scratched. So I scratched in to oversubscribe. Funny race, though. I had Ellis Starr on yesterday, and we talked a little bit about this race. He thought Makanga could maybe lead them all the way around. Makanga had done that for a win in the previous start, and he thought, maybe the speed and take them all the way around again. That was certainly the game plan, but Chantilly Road said, not such an easy lead. These two, however, opened up a big lead on the rest, but it's tough when there's, a little competition. There was some consternation, obviously. There's always consternation on social media, but some folks thought, hey, Chantilly Road, the 8, was kind of the rabbit for Chad Brown. And somebody said, I don't like coupled entries, but come on, a rabbit? Well, if you don't like coupled entries, that's the whole point of coupled entries. And if you don't like them, you can wind up with this kind of situation. There was the duel up front, and that opened it up for oversubscribed to make the late run and get up. Also passing Makanga just in the shadow of the wire was Vina Rouge for Tony Dutrow, but oversubscribed gets it done for Chad and Kolarovich as the favorite. pays $4.20. But as I say, it was a funny race because the front runners, you saw it when they picked up in the stretch, but coming down the back stretch, normally those horses come back, but sometimes they'll get out there and they just have such a big lead, it's hard to pull them in. And coming around the turn, you kind of wondered, is that going to be the case? And you could see the next pack. And then as they turned into the lane, you could tell the momentum was with the horses coming and not so much. That said, McKenga, I thought, ran very well to be third in there. Just could not hold off Vino Rouge for second. But again, given the early, pace scenario, decent to hold on for third, but oversubscribed. Third career start. It was the stakes debut for the Chad Klarovich runner. Flavian Prat was on board, and now 2 wins in 3 starts, including a stakes win for the 3-year-old. I would 3-year-old filly. They were 3-year-old fillies in the Wild Applause. I would think, we'll see that one up at Saratoga. Given the connections, and clearly there's some talent there. Be interesting to see the next race, because clearly the whole situation played out in her favor. But I think she's a talented horse. But it'll still be kind of interesting to see next time out. Also on the agenda yesterday, short field, but an interesting field in the Chicago at Churchill Downs. These are fillies and mares going 7. It was also interesting to see how the odds broke out. I said it when I handicapped in here yesterday. I like Vava on the recency, but you had Society, really nice stakes quality sprinter from Steve Asmussen, who had tossed in a 106 Beyer win in August of last year, followed that up running 4th in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint behind Goodnight Olive, and hadn't been seen since. But with some triple-digit Beyer wins in stakes companies, Society's the real deal. Hadn't been seen since November, however. Vava, on the other hand, debuted in April in the Madison Grade 1 at Keeneland and just missed, and followed it up winning the Grade 1 Derby City Distaff on Derby weekend, looking pretty good with the triple-digit. On the triple-digit Beyer. On the recency, I went with Vava over Society. But it was interesting. The morning line had Vava at even money, Society at 4-5. So really close, a fraction of a tick away, and Society was favored. And I was curious to see how that would shake out. Betting public was not buying it. Betting public sent Vava out 46 to $1 favorite and 2-1 on Society. And it was a ding-dong battle here. Society is the number 1 horse and is out there in the lead, and Vava comes up and challenges, and you'll see them, they bump here. And, you can see them kind of knocking each other a little bit. And given the fact that subsequently Vava goes on by and wins by a length and a quarter, but Society loses a second by only a neck. And given that and the bumping, I was hold your tickets. Let's see what happens here. Stewards did not put up, they had to have looked, but they did not put up the inquiry. And again, there was a little consternation on social media, and that I can kind of agree with. That said, when you finally looked at the head-on, it was more Society came out and kind of initiated the contact, and then it was 50-50. They were just kind of going at it, and Vava pulls away. And so Society, again, off the layoff, 7 furlongs, came up a little bit short. And my point on the bumping was, I think it was a no call. I think Society kind of initiated it, and then it was just, as I say, more 50-50. But it was funny that they didn't at least put up the inquiry. Now, as I say, a lot of times the stewards will say, we saw something, we looked, we didn't. But I think just for the sake of transparency in the betting public, it's helpful to let them know, we're looking. But we didn't see anything. And again, I think that was the right decision. When you see the head on, there is some bumping. But again, Society misses second. Had Society run second, then it's a total no-brainer. But Society getting caught for second to run third, then I think you definitely had to take a look and make a decision. But the right decision was made there, which was no decision. They should have flashed the sign, I think. All right, also on the agenda yesterday, it was the Goldwood from Monmouth, 5.5 on the turf for the ladies, and it is going to be number 2, Beauty of the Sea, getting it done as the favorite, pretty strong favorite, 4-5. It was 7-2 on the morning line in a decent 9-horse field in here. Running second is Queen of the Mud. When we talked with Ellis Starr about this race yesterday, I thought Queen of the Mud was a little bit intriguing from Grand Motion, who seems to be on a little roll right now. Queen of the Mud's number 5. Beauty of the Sea is the number 2. Beauty of the Sea will eventually pull away a little bit here. Length and a quarter under Paco Lopez. Queen of the Mud, again, finishes second. They were the two logical players in here. Again, at 90 cents to the dollar, 4-5 and 2-1. So you wound up with a $8 and change exact. But Beauty of the Sea, a nice win there for Joe Orsino in the little turf sprint stakes race at Monmouth yesterday. And finally, one of the highlights of the day was the Ohio Derby. I will say, I didn't call for the replay, but the Lady Jacqueline, we talked about that one with Ellis Starr. Control room says they have it, so you can pop that up if you want to, because it is Misty Vale getting it done in the Lady Jacqueline. And I said I had liked Misty Vale all season long down at Oaklawn, where she'd run well, but not necessarily winning, and won the Pippin back in January, and subsequently a second and a third, and was well beaten in the Apple Blossom. But I had thought the Mike Maker runner was just a really talented 6-year-old mayor now, and she gets it done, and gets it done pretty convincingly yesterday in the Lady Jacqueline on the undercard of the Ohio Derby. Chart margin here is going to be, over 8 lengths. I mean, she just runs away and hides. Clearly a little overmatched in the Apple Blossom, but found this company much more to her liking. Went off as the second choice, Corningstone, again, the cleverly named little riff on Anchorman being out of the damn Ice Woman. Corningstone was the favorite and wound up third, but at $5 and change, just under $6, Mike Maker getting it done. Ramon Vasquez on board in the Lady Jacqueline. The prelude to the Ohio Derby. When I talked about the Ohio Derby, I said, it's a season where the 3-year-olds just have not been defined. Been saying that for weeks or months. And I noted yesterday, this really wasn't going to help necessarily sort that out unless Catching Freedom could win. And that wasn't going to move him to the top of the class or anything. But at this point, with the 3-year-old races this year, the Derby Preps, Derby Preakness, Belmont, we've essentially had 21 different winners of 26 races. And there are 5 of them that have won a couple. Dornock added his name to that a couple of weeks ago with the Belmont. He won the Belmont and the Fountain of Youth. It's Encino. It's Catching Freedom, who earlier this year won the Smarty Jones and then won the Louisiana Derby. And Mystic Dad and Sierra Leone, who each have a couple of notable wins. Now, Catching Freedom, putting win number 3 this season on the resume, was going to move himself into an interesting spot. Wasn't going to be the top of the class winning the Ohio Derby. That's not going to match up with horses winning Triple Crown races, obviously. But would set himself up to maybe jump into the conversation at the top of the class, shopping for a spot later this summer. Haskell, Jim Dandy Travers, Pennsylvania Derby. But Catching Freedom at 2-5 is going to do no better than 4th here. It was a scratch-reduced field, unfortunately, of only 6, but it was still interesting. And when I talked with Ellis Starr yesterday about this race, we talked and we hit on some horses, and I said, what do you make of Batten Down? And we talked a little bit about this one. Well, what do you make of Batten Down? Stakes debut, career start number 5 off a big win at Churchill on April 30th. And Batten Down here takes them all the way around. Chart margin is going to wind up to be just a length and a quarter at the end, but you never had any doubt. So this horse now becomes yet another 3-year-old that adds his name to, now it's 20, what did I do, 25, now it's 27 races with 22 different winners, stakes races on the 3-year-old side of things. But Batten Down, given what we saw last time with a solid 93, and I didn't see, let me see if I can quickly pull up buyers. I looked a little bit earlier, and I hadn't seen buyers. It looks like we may have, our friend Steve Bick usually tweets out buyer stakes results, and it looks like he may have, and it was, again, thank you, Mr. Bick. It was a 93. So he matches up 93s, which is, with this crop this year, solid number. And, it's a Belmont, Juddmonte horse. Saratoga, you would think, would be in line. Look at the 3-year-old stakes there, but throws his hat in the ring in a season of undefined 3-year-olds. It might be a horse that gets good in the second half of the year that will be able to wrestle the crown away. We'll see how it plays out. But Batten Down yesterday certainly looked very good. Running second in there was Gould's Gold. And Gould's Gold was the Kenny McPeak runner who Ellis Starlight yesterday. And ran well to be second in there at 11-1 as the fourth choice. So it was a nice run from Gould's Gold. Might be one. This was only the sixth career start for Gould's Gold, coming out of a near miss in the Sir Barton. So it's a horse that may be kind of figuring it out as well, and might be interesting to watch going forward. I would think with Mystic Gold, they'll kind of pick their spots to avoid each other if they can. But Gould's Gold, I think, is with only the 6 starts now, is worth watching as well. But again, this was only career start number 4 for Batten Down, and pairs up a couple of very nice wins, including stepping out of Maiden Company last time, a stakes win, a grade 3 stakes win. So we'll have to keep our eyes on Gould's or on Batten Down. But again, that just adds another wrinkle to the 3-year-old scene this year. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out this summer, because we have the 4 big races that you hope would sort things out. But given what we've seen so far, I don't know whether that's a sure thing. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we will take a look at some of that Royal Ascot action from this weekend. There were some very nice performances all weekend long, but I just picked out a few that were notable. So we'll take a look at those when we come back. And more when Racing Across America continues on this Sunday morning. Stay tuned. Haven't signed up for a Capital OTB account yet? Now's the time to take advantage of the sign-up bonus. Open up a new account with $200 or more, bet $400 by the end of the month, and receive a bonus $200 into your account. Plus, you can take advantage of everything an OTB account has to offer: wagering from any device, live streaming, racing info, past performances, online promotions, and more. Sign up today and take advantage of the new account bonus. Details at capitalotb.com.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. In front, but here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Falbrough. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish to the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on this Sunday morning. Again, Royal Ascot wrapped up yesterday. We showed it here, and it was available for wagering all week long. Hopefully you jumped in and had some fun. Folks were, again, lamenting on social media as the days progressed. Man, this is tough. You're throwing darts. Well, with 30-horse fields and 2-year-old races, 2-year-old stakes races where you can point at every, they've had 1 or 2 starts, and to then start at Royal Ascot, they had to be pretty good 1 or 2 starts, so you can point at the whole field. And so it was kind of, you take your shot. Now, there were also some logical performances, and we'll watch those as well. But there were some notable performances, and social media, I think, kind of crowned this as maybe the performance of the week. But whether you agree or not, that it was the performance. It was a performance, certainly. In the opener yesterday, the Chesham Stakes, this was a straightaway 7 furlongs on the turf for 2-year-olds. And as is the case over there, often you have some fillies facing the boys, and one of the fillies facing the boys yesterday was Bedtime Story. Bedtime Story, Aidan O'Brien trainee, Ryan Moore on board, and Bedtime Story looks fabulous here yesterday, just winning off. She powers away and opens up. I mean, look at this. It's just an incredible 2-year-old filly, again, against the boys, and just runs away and wins for fun. Bedtime Story, again, maybe the most impressive winner of the week at Royal Ascot. And again, debatable, but that was certainly a very impressive performance. As I say, it was Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore. They, jockey and trainer, wound up with the jockey and trainer titles at the meet. It was, I'm just looking at the 17th leading Royal Ascot meet title for Aidan O'Brien, who obviously over there just incredible. And that was just one of many he had on the week, but helped to kick things forward there. Kicking off yesterday with, again, Bedtime Story, eye-poppingly good on the straightaway. And that's one of the fun things about Royal Ascot, those straightaway races, where oftentimes they separate, they're looking for the fence, and so they separate where, I said to somebody this week, there's no disadvantage, there's no turn. So you can pick your rail. And it's also interesting, every once in a while, most of the field or all of the field but one horse goes to one side and somebody else is on the other. That race, they all kind of picked the middle of the course, but regardless of where they decided to go, there was no catching Bedtime Story. Now, given that, up until I saw that, I thought the performance of the meet was the day before at Royal Ascot. On the opener on Friday was the Albany Group 3 event, again for 2-year-olds. This one for 4 straight fillies going 6 furlongs on the straight. And we'll see Fairy Godmother here. Just a different look for the orange cap. You can see the horse pulling off to the right side of the screen here. Was behind this wall of horses, had nowhere to go. Ryan Moore says, all right, I'll take a left-hand turn. And given up the ground lost going left, you had to think, nah, no shot. But then gets the momentum. And this is a crazy victory, too. Fairy Godmother, Aidan O'Brien, Ryan Moore. Started the career running a nice second in a field of 12. Had won a Group 3 in the second start of the career, middle of May, and now adds a win at Royal Ascot. And again, that was an eye-popping win, just in a completely different fashion than we saw from Bedtime Story. But they were both very impressive and kind of eye-poppingly good, both from the leading trainer and the leading jockey at the meet. So 2 nice performances there from 2-year-olds. And, you wonder, 2-year-olds with those kind of performances, do they aim for 2-year-old turf races the end of the year over here in the Breeders' Cup? We shall see. But certainly a horse that I would think we will likely see take a pop at the Breeders' Cup is another horse that won on Friday. This was in the Group 1 Coronation, over $800,000 up for grabs, a mile on the turf. The winner will be Porta Fortuna. Wanted to show this one because there's some American ownership involved. Porta Fortuna is the 6th horse. Dean Reeves is among the owners here, and I believe I saw a picture of him over there accepting, part of the group accepting the trophy. But I say we're likely to see this one at the Breeders' Cup because she was a close-up second last year in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly Turf out at Santa Anita. So we can see a nice performance here from Porta Fortuna to win at Royal Ascot for the second year. Last year she won the Albany, won it nicely under Frankie Dettori, and this year gets it done for Donica O'Brien. Second start of the season, had been in the 1,000 guineas to start the season and just missed there, but follows it up with a nice win at Royal Ascot. So now, 2 for 2 at Royal Ascot. That's pretty good. And again, just a near miss last year in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. You would have to think, again, with some American ownership involved, we're likely to see her at the end of the year. But that was a nice performance on Friday as well. And I wanted to show one more. I said during the week there were some horses that, there was some prices certainly, but there were some logical horses as well. And one of the horses that was certainly more logical, even money on the morning line, and lived up to it in the Prince of Wales Stakes going back to, I believe, Wednesday. Group 1, 1.25 miles on the turf. It is going to be Auguste Rodin getting it done for Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore. Michael Tabor, Smith & Company, Magner. Really talented runner throughout the career. This is win number 8 and start number 13. Puts the earnings up. We're approaching $6 million for Auguste Rodin. This is another horse that has appeared over here in the Breeders' Cup last year at Santa Anita Breeders' Cup Turf. A winner at 5-2. Had a couple of starts this year, a little bit disappointing in Dubai. In the Shima Classic, ran 12th, a well-beaten 12th. Gold Cup at the Curragh end of May, ran 2nd, but gets back to his winning ways at Ascot this week in the Prince of Wales. Again, last year's Breeders' Cup Turf winner, Auguste Rodin, getting it done for, as I say, Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore, the leading jockey and trainer at that meet. All right, we'll take another break. When we come back, we'll do a little handicapping. We'll hit on some news and notes and more. All of that when Racing Across America continues.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
In a recent study of some of the top online wagering sites, Capital OTB won big in total player rewards, far surpassing some of the best-known wagering sites in America. While other rewards programs simply offer you points redeemable for gift cards, Capital OTB's rebates are paid to you in actual cash. Plus, Capital OTB gives you full and immediate access to your money. So if all you're getting now are points and gift cards, join Capital OTB Player Rewards today and get cash back. Visit CapitalOTBBet.com and sign up today.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. Again, courtesy of our friend Steve Bick, tweeted out some buyers from yesterday. I read Batten Down in the Ohio Derby at 93. Misty Vale at 95. Nice number for her in that Lady Jacqueline. Other notables oversubscribed. We saw that come from behind, running down the two loose on the lead front runners, oversubscribed at Belmont, at Aqueduct, and the Wild Applause, a 91, and a solid 99 for Vava in that Chicago down at Churchill down. So there you go. Beauty of the Sea, the Goldwood at Monmouth, nice 91 there as well. So some nice numbers from yesterday's action. And it was kind of a fun day. Well, the whole week, really, when you get Royal Ascot and just the quality of that 5 days of racing is, top-notch start to finish. So all week long, we had great stuff in the morning leading into the afternoons, and that continued yesterday with the final day at Ascot. We were showing those races early on as we were doing the morning programming. That continued through lunchtime, and then some nice racing kicked off around the Horn. And again, it was one of those days where, horses like Misty Vale, Batten Down, Vava will be horses, Beauty of the Sea, I would think as well. Oversubscribed horses that will play out in some of the races coming up over the next couple of months, summertime action as well. All right. Let's do a little handicapping here. And again, I know the weather locally is unsettled, and so I'm not quite sure what we're expecting down in New York. But I'll take a look at the late pick 5, and again, without hearing any changes. I looked an hour or so ago, and I didn't really see anything. Let me see if I can actually pull up. And see if there's an early note, as it were, as far as scratches and changes. Yeah, they're still listed on the turf at this point. There are some scratches listed, though, so I will note those as I go through. Let me pull up that. I'll take a look at the late pick 5. Again, not putting a ticket together or anything, but just giving some ideas, and we'll keep our fingers crossed as far as the weather. In this 5th, early scratches are the 1A, the 2B, and the 5. So I lose a couple from my mix here, but I'm now 2, 7, and 6. I had the 2 entry on top, Lost in Rome and Secret Rules. I was probably a little more enamored with with Lost in Rome anyway. So we lose half, but I keep the half that I maybe tilted slightly towards. Irod Ortiz on board for Linda Rice off a claim. Won that claimed race last time, which was a very similar race. It was 6 furlongs for 40,000. This is 6.5 for 40,000. Irod was on board last time, on board again today. So again, one of those why not right back kind of situations. Lost in Rome on top. Second slot, we will take a look at number 7, Flint Ridge. 8-1 on the morning line. One start this year. It was the middle of April, so lightly raced. But that effort was a nice win. Off a layoff from December to April. So now April to June, I don't think is a big leap. And given what we saw in that comebacker at this 40 level, Flint Ridge, I think, has to be considered. And if the morning line holds up, a nice little price as well. Life Changer in the 3rd spot. Last seen a couple of weeks ago up at Saratoga. Kind of clunked there, but has been facing a little bit better. You go back a few starts. This horse was claimed for 40. So the last time seen for this price, ran a pretty good second. I think he'll be in the hunt again today. Again, in the 5th race, 2, 7, and 6. Sixth race, it looks like we lose, yes, the AEs at this point. And again, these are early scratches. I would recheck again a little bit later. I think official scratches tend to be more after 11 o'clock. But again, early on, 6th race, 13, 14, 15, the AEs are out. This one's scheduled for the turf. So again, all dependent on how the weather plays out. If things do switch as the day goes on, as always, if you go to capitalotb.com, click on the handicapping link, then click on handicapper support. The nice printable one sheet is there most racing days. Brian Nadeau has his Churchill Matrix and Play of the Day. I have picks for Belmont at the Big A and Churchill. And in turf races, I'll give dirt picks as well. But on the turf in this 6, Belmont at the Big A, 7, 4, 8, and 10. Thought the 2 was interesting as well. Saratoga Gaze, that Kathleen O'Connell comes back over here. It's a New York bred. She's based over at Monmouth, moved over here, spent the winter at Tampa, moved over here to Belmont at the Big A and ran second last time. So again, Saratoga Gaze, interesting, just out of my mix though. But if you like that one, wouldn't argue you off. But I went with Box Wine, the number 7 horse. Nice win to break the maiden 2 back. That was the seasonal debut. Then didn't quite fare as well when moved into this company last time, but it got off a little slow. Again, had moved up a condition, now has that experience under the belt. I think this one is intriguing and maybe a little bit of value. Second try at this level. From Hello, 10-1 on the morning line goes out for Bruce Brown. Third start of the season. First start was an off-the-turfer. Didn't do much there. Turf race last time, just missed. Now third start back off that nice try last time. I think that 10-1 is very generous given what is on the page here for number 4 From Hello. And then first time in forever, based out in Southern California for most of the career, but has come to New York for the last couple of starts. And why not? New York bred. They're putting up $80,000 here to try first level allowance company. And since arriving in New York, has a little bit of a mixed bag, good second 2 back with a kind of a come from behind effort. Last time showed a little punch and faded a little bit late. But again, I think with that experience under the belt, becomes a player today in with this bunch. So again, in the 6th, Belmont at the Big A, I have it 7, 4, 8, and 10. And the 2 intriguing if, certainly if the price is right and you're looking in that direction. 7th race, Belmont at the Big A. Again, we're on the turf. And again, on the website, parsed out dirt selections should turn out that way. And I'm not seeing any early scratches for the 7th. I have it 8, 5, 3, and 1. 8, Gaslight Dancer goes out for Mike Maker. Comes up from Churchill, where the last couple of races, certainly number-wise, match up nicely with this group. Finishing positions weren't necessarily exciting, but they were against better. So the move from Churchill, the class drop, third start back off a little bit of an early season layoff. I think there's things to like for Gaslight Dancer, so I'll tilt slightly in that direction. Busy morning, Irad Ortiz on board. Hasn't been seen since the middle of April, but the last couple of races down at Gulfstream were pretty good. Win 2 back was claimed out of that. They moved up into starter allowance company and just missed. Now a little time off. They come up to New York and try this optional claimer starter allowance. But I think given what we saw last time in the starter allowance company, I think this horse is a square fit in with this bunch. And again, Irad is a bonus to maybe move your horse forward and get a good effort. Not a bonus as far as the odds. Morning line's 5-1, but again with Irad Ortiz on board. We'll see what we get. Devil's K in the third spot, 10-1 on the morning line for Tom Morley. Claim 2 back off a nice effort and then moved into this company off the claim and didn't run quite as well. But given what we've seen in the last couple of races, and again, this particular bunch, I think is a player in here, certainly. But for me, in the 7th race, Belmont at the Big A, 8, 5, 3, and 1. Race number 8 this afternoon down in New York, the Dancing Renee, little stakes action. These are state-bred fillies and mares going 3/4 of a mile. And again, early scratches not showing anything for the 8th. So I'm 3, 2, 4, and 5. Sterling Silver, kind of logical, moves into the Bill Mott barn. But this is one of those where, and I say buyers should be a tool in the toolbox, just part of what you look at. But sometimes the buyers just seem to have such an edge that you're just really attracted. And that's the case with this horse. Certainly the last number stands out. And if you go down the page, there are numbers that match up with some of the others in here. But overall, if you take the numbers on the page, they give this this runner a nice little edge on the numbers, such an edge that I couldn't get past Sterling Silver. But Can't Hurry Love in the second spot. February and March, the only starts so far this year, so it's been on the sidelines a little bit, but the 2 starts were pretty good. Laid off from early December to mid-February, and the seasonal debut was a decent little third-place finish in the state-bred stakes race. Then tried Open Company in the correction and just missed. So this horse, talent-wise, is absolutely in the thick of things with this state-bred bunch. Lilu in the third spot. Been facing Open Company, Churchill, and Oaklawn in the past, Open Stakes Company in the past couple of starts, and has been kind of right there with a couple of fourth-place finishes. This horse could be very interesting class-wise, coming to New York, back to New York, and jumping into a state-bred stakes race. So dangerous on the open to state-bred class move. Belmont at the Big A, 3, 2, 4, and 5 in the 8th race. 9th and final this afternoon, going to go off about 5:15. Maiden Claimers going a mile and a 16th on the grass. 8, 7, the one entry, and 6. I should, because there are some early scratches, and they're the also eligibles and the main track only. So the 1A, 13, 14, and 15 are out at this point. So I now have it 8, 7, 1, and 6, not the one entry, the plain 1 sticks. But I'll put 8 on top, Magic 8 Ball. Magic 8 Ball says winner, hopefully. We'll see how that works out. But trying the turf for the second time, the turf debut last November, it does not jump off the page by any means. 2 races bookending that are off the turfers, so I assume they were trying to get on the turf, including the seasonal debut. Wound up on the dirt, didn't offer up much, and in fact, the horse has been a little bit, it hasn't been inspiring, let's put it that way, so far. But 3 starts back, ran second, a well-beaten second, ran third in the career debut, so has shown a little bit of talent, but most importantly, I'm going to give this one another shot on the turf since it seems like that's what they have wanted. And we go maiden special weight to maiden claiming. And that's kind of what's jumping off the page at me. A little bit of a turf, a little bit of a class move that I think could wake the horse up. So they're going to get their another shot at the surface they seem to have wanted, albeit not running spectacularly the one time they did get it. But second start of the season, class crop, back to the turf. I'll take the shot with Magic 8 Ball. Second spot, Under Agreement. This one's kind of interesting, and I'll be interested to see what kind of action it takes. It's Chad and Klarovich. And I say it's kind of interesting because you look at the breeding, and it's foreign breeding. I don't know why the racing form doesn't do it. But I'll tell you how you can do it when you see a horse like this. I mean, Chad with Klarovich now, but certainly with Peter Brandt. When you look at these horses with foreign breeding, the first thought now is, because they've had success doing this, they've gone over to Europe and purchased this horse at auction. Now, the racing form, you can see it right above with the 6 horse. You can see that horse was purchased at auction at Keeneland. Racing form will show the auction purchases, but not the foreign auction purchases. But you can look it up. Just type in the horse's name on Equibase, and the Equibase page shows the auction history. So you can look up if horses were bought overseas there. But given that information is available, I don't know why the racing form doesn't just put it right in the PPs the way they do the American auction results. All of that said, this horse, Under Agreement, was purchased at Deauville in October of 2022, so a couple of years back, but purchased for $194,000. So, they've been on the sidelines throughout the 2-year-old season. We're middle of the 3-year-old season now, and they debuted for 40. So I'm a little bit suspect given that situation. But it is Chad, it is Klarovich. It's a field where I think a first-time starter could make a little noise. Third spot, the plain 1 now that the 1A is out, but I'm perfectly happy with the 1. As far as some numbers that match up very well, with this bunch, including in the lone turf start, fired a lifetime best buyer that's going to match up very well with this group. So 9th and final, Belmont at the Big A, 8-7, 1 and 6. All right, we'll take one more break. When we come back, we'll hit on a little more, some news and notes, some kind of fun news and notes, a couple of things to take a look at when we come back. So stay tuned.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. You'll get live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform, and best of all, you get track prices. CapitalOTBBet.com. Bet any place, anytime at CapitalOTBBet.com. And be sure to download our new mobile app from the iTunes Store or Google Play.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player, to have a better knowledge of the game, to be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. As I said, some fun things here in the last segment. First off, I should have sent in a picture. I didn't even think of it, but you can find it on Twitter. That was all over Twitter yesterday. The Fonz was at Royal Ascot. Henry Winkler. There was pictures of him meeting the Queen, and he was in the day coat and the top hat. And I'm curious to know if the Fonz is a horse racing fan or just happened to be there or whatever. I didn't see any follow up on. I'm sure if I looked, there would be a little more on that. But from earlier in my television viewing days, happy days, the early years before the studio audience, first 2 seasons maybe, were pretty good with Richie and the Fonz and. But yeah, Henry Winkler over at Royal Ascot yesterday. As I say, meeting the Queen with the top hat and everything. Another notable television related earlier this week, and I think we have some footage. It was earlier this week, I believe, or at the end of last week. But our friend Frank Miramati, there he is, Frank Miramati on The Price is Right. That was hilarious. It got a mention on Twitter as the day progressed. The morning he was on, people were like, "Hey, Frank Miramati was on The Price is Right," and so I checked it out. And I tweeted it out if you go to my Twitter feed. But if you type in "Price is Right replay," there's a site from CBS that puts it out. And you can check the replay. I don't have the date. I think it was the 15th, I want to say. And so you can watch the replay. And Frank's pretty near the beginning of the show. There's one contestant beats him in that opening round and goes up and got to play Plinko. I would have liked to have seen Frank play Plinko. But then Frank was the second guy up on the stage. And I don't want to be a spoiler, but Frank gets a trip to Hawaii. He won his round. Then he went to that bonus round, and if you're not familiar with The Price is Right, you get to spin a wheel, and you try to get a total of $1, and the wheel has 5-cent increments on it. So you get 2 spins, and you try to get as close to $1 without going over $1 as you can. And Frank was the third person to spin, and one of the first 2 people had 90 cents. And if somebody gets 90, you're kind of jammed up because you have to either tie or beat 90, but not go over $1. And Frank, couldn't do that, so he didn't get into the big final round. But he had a pretty good visit to The Price is Right. His girlfriend Jennifer was out in the audience cheering along, and they're going to Hawaii now. So as I say, it's kind of fun to watch, and you can pull up a replay. Again, if you go to my Twitter feed and scroll down, I have a link to the page that's the replay. But I think I found it by just saying Price is Right replay into Google, and you should find the page. But it was within the last, as I say, week and a half. And I want to say it's the 15th, but worth checking out. Also, they announced this week, I know some people are always looking forward to it, and it's certainly popular, and the turnstiles get worked out. Giveaway days up at Saratoga, and they announced the 4 giveaways up at Saratoga this year. A couple are interesting to me, a couple maybe not so much, but I know other folks are maybe flip-flopped on what they find interesting. The 4 giveaway items this year. On Friday, July 19th, a 40-ounce white drink tumbler with the logo on. And those are nice. They tend to keep your drink cold and the ice icy for a while. And as you see, you have a little slot there. You can put it in your car cup holder. So those are nice. That's July 19th, the tumbler. Next one's going to be Friday, August 2nd. Start a Whitney weekend. Saratoga baseball jersey. Now, again, that's one of the ones, not that exciting to me, but I think that will be very popular, I think. It's not in my wheelhouse, but I do think that one is going to definitely be a popular item. And it's fun. It's kind of, I haven't seen them do anything like that before. And as I say, it's kind of fun. It's just, I don't see me wearing that, but I think a lot of people do see themselves wearing it. And I think, as I say, I do believe that'll be popular regardless of my opinion on it. And the same with the next one. I am not a trucker hat guy. I don't like the look of the trucker hat, but there are a lot of people who do. And I don't mind this because there's typically a baseball cap in the mix with the giveaways, and they mix it up every year. And so, if you don't like the trucker hat concept, wait until next year, a couple of years, you'll see a cap you do like. Certainly, I have plenty of the giveaway caps in my closet, and I wear plenty of them and got looks I like. Again, I'm not a big trucker hat guy with the mesh and the whatnot, but plenty of people are, and that will be the giveaway item on Friday, August 16th. The one that really intrigues me, though, I'm looking forward to, the windbreaker, to me, is in my wheelhouse. I kind of like that. It looks like an item to kind of tuck maybe in the car for weather and always be available. So that's coming up again on September 1st towards the end of the meet, the black windbreaker as the final of the 4 giveaway items. So again, they're all fun. There's a couple that aren't in my particular wheelhouse, but as I say, I know they are very much in other people's, and I think they're all fun items coming up. And that's part of the fun of Saratoga. People always look forward to the various giveaway items, and 4 coming up: tumbler, baseball jersey, trucker hat, and the windbreaker this year as the giveaway items. Again, just announced a couple of days ago, I think. As we are getting closer and closer to traditional Saratoga after our 4 days of bonus Saratoga a couple of weeks ago. Tomorrow, speaking of bonus OTB Live will be on the road tomorrow. I do want to remind you one more time to check us out. Couple of stakes races tomorrow up at the Finger Lakes, so a great day for us to head out there. It's supposed to be nice weather. Looking forward to it. We'll have Todd Height on from Finger Lakes. He'll join us. We will have Anthony Spiel on. He'll join us. I also got word we may have a special guest on tomorrow, so that'll be fun. Check that out as well. We'll keep you guessing there. But all tomorrow afternoon, some cut-ins throughout the afternoon live from the Finger Lakes right here on OTB TV Monday afternoon. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Seth Merrow in the studio for a Sunday morning, but we'll be back as usual about an hour and a half or so for a Monday afternoon OTB Live. We'll take a look at a little Churchill and some Belmont at Aqueduct. We'll have plenty more action on the network here as well. So looking forward to it. Hopefully you are as well, but we'll wrap it up for Racing Across America for this week. Hopefully you got a good look at maybe some of the stakes action you missed, or just a little replay to plug it into your head. Because as I say, some of these winners will certainly be playing in important races throughout the summer as well. So it's been a fun edition of Racing Across America. Thanks for tuning in. Back again in about an hour and a half for OTB Live on a Sunday afternoon. See you then. We'd like to thank Woodbine for their sponsorship of this program and some of the other programming and events here at Capital OTB. Woodbine open now through December, featuring great racing, including the King's Plate coming up in August, Turf Champions Day with the Woodbine Mile in September, and much, much more. Woodbine Racing, great racing north of the border.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off-Track Betting.
Toga Gold, 19.1 for the win. Not fancied in the market, but maybe the headgear is